It's not the worst starter line, for sure.
Oh, it's certainly not the worst starter line. Yeah, Chikorita exists. Yeah. Hey, Chikorita fans out there, I'm not sorry. Send your hate mail to mail@GOCastpodcast.com and I will read your tear-soaked emails with joy. Oh, poor Chikorita.
You're tuned into the GOCast podcast, your one-stop shop for updates, news, tips, and community in the world of Pokemon Go. Thank you for listening.
Have you heard about the upcoming season in Pokemon Go? It's gonna be huge.
Don't be sleepy. It's time to catch Dreepy during an upcoming event.
And more on this episode of GOCast. Hello and welcome to the GOCast podcast, episode 297. It is August 27th, a Tuesday, a rather exciting Tuesday in the world of Pokemon Go. I'm your host, Chris, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Kyle.
Hiya.
Hey, Kyle, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, did you hear the big news?
Yeah, there's a lot of big news, actually. Which
There
one?
is. I mean, there's too much. I mean, I think you could probably point to any of the things that were published today and be like, that was big news. Because it was. So just up front, really quick, for those of you listening at home, although I don't know how, or I guess anywhere, listening anywhere, I don't know how you'd hear this if you weren't listening. I suppose you could be watching on YouTube. Go do that, by the way. Hey, YouTube. But we got the season stuff today. We got the seasonal update, the name of the new season, an event, and confirmed the introduction of the Dynamax feature. Now, normally when a season comes out, a brand new season, we do a all hands podcast with us, the two of us, Fish on a Heater, DeFi 250, and Lachlan. But we're going to be recording that next week. So we will cover the majority of the season-specific stuff next week, in addition to Dynamax. And this week, we're going to be talking about one piece of news that was very exciting from that group as well on its own, because that event starts on the day that we're recording next week. So that's what we're going to do. That's the game plan. Doesn't mean it's not hype, because it certainly is. But I will tell you what's not hype, at least for me this week. Let's talk about our goals from this past week, shall we?
All right.
Okay, Mr. Kyle, you had set it looks like 4. Yeah, I can count 4 goals. Yep. 300,000 experience was your number 1 goal. How did that go?
I did do that.
Excellent. Excellent. We love that. All right, beyond that, buddy progress?
I did.
Okay.
Very slowly, though. I need to be more committed. I can't with the buddy system.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
It's kind of a bummer sometimes. And then what about friend gifting? Did you get back into the gifting game this week?
I did. I didn't send a lot of gifts. I opened a lot of gifts, though.
That counts. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. And then lastly, the timed research free.
No.
Why? Because it's not all out yet?
Well, that, and also I haven't done the Valor one yet.
It's just 2 rocket grunts. So what are you doing?
I've only done 1.
Oh my gosh.
I have no motivation to do rocket grunts. Like,
hey, apparently that's
even seeing that balloon float up there, I'm like, why?
That's too high up. I don't want to.
Let me go get that Makahita from there. Yeah, that's a great investment of 2 minutes of my time.
Well, if this week was any indication so far, this event was any indication so far, your sentiment is not uncommon. We'll get to it in a hot minute here. But first and foremost, good on you, Mr. Kyle. 3 out of 4. I can tell you right now, spoilers, you kicked my butt. All right. So my first goal was the paid timed research. And I did do that. I did that one. That's great. Next was 5 sets of GBL matches. I did 3 sets of GBL matches, which is still a vast improvement to any GBL playing I've done in like the calendar year or so.
Yep. Yes,
So
it is.
it's to be celebrated on its own, but alas, does not qualify as an achieved goal.
Close, but no cigar.
No cigar. That's good. The cigars aren't good for it, even if they are nice. 50 eggs hatched. I had like 42. This is the week.
What?
This is a week of falling short, let me tell you.
Wait, no. What happened?
Well, I did that thing again where like I go to bed and then I wake up on the Monday and then I don't open up my game until after the adventure sync is done, and I hatch 9 eggs after my adventure sync triggers. So I go to bed thinking I'm all set, and then I wake up like, oh, I should check Go at like 10:30. Too late.
That reminds me, I need to now check and make sure that I fed my Snorlax dinner today or lunch today.
Oh
it's
yeah,
almost dinner time.
it is almost dinner time. I'm also not sure if I did or didn't, but I got to keep driving this thing, so I'm going to keep going. And then lastly, 2 shinies, anything, and it was going to be 0, but thankfully we got our Ultra Beast compensations research. I knew you were going to love that. We got our Ultra Beast compensation research, and one of my Necrozma in my stack ended up being shiny. So I'm not a complete failure, just mostly this week. So 1 out of 4. Together, you and I, Kyle, we create a 4 out of 4, you know?
Oh man.
Yeah.
I also, just for the record, anyone might care, did not get any shinies out of my Ultra Beast compensation. They were all bad, but hey, they were free. So
And they all have the background.
yep.
All have the background, and it was like, it was KDXL, and you didn't have to waste any resources on it because it was just 1 beast ball. Couldn't use any berries, which is a bummer, but you didn't lose any regular balls either, which is nice. But why don't you go ahead and pull up your Ultra Beast encounters? Let's compare the numbers really quick, because I know this is a talking point in the community, so we should probably share ours. While you pull yours up, I've got mine ready to go here. I had 1 Pheromosa, 1 Buzzwole, 1 Celesteela, 1 Kartana, 2 Xurkitree. I was incorrect when we were talking about this the other day, Kyle. 2 Xurkitree, and 8 Necrozma.
I got 1 Kartana, 1 Buzzwole, and 8 Necrozma.
Okay.
That's it.
Wow. And so your understanding is, I'm assuming from stuff you've seen online, that what you got and how many you got was representative of how many raids you did and what you raided during the targeted
it has
effective
to
period.
have been, because I saw someone who was like, yeah, I got 5 Xurkitree from it, and I'm like, okay, you must have done a lot of Xurkitree then. So
yeah, I guess so.
We did a lot of Necrozma.
We did mostly Necrozma, apparently. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. So if you're like, why did I get Ultra Beast for free and research, especially when it was happening during this Try 'em Together thing, which was also research focused. The game isn't bugged. We just finally got our compensation from, forgive me if I'm wrong, or just go ahead and correct me. No forgiveness necessary, Kyle. You know the rules here. This was for the first day of GoFest Global. You could not catch an Ultra Beast with a catch card, a location card. So this was compensation for that. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my understanding as well.
Good.
So
Good. Okay. Well, hey, there's that. Before we get started in the news again, a little quick reminder, and you'll be hearing this from me for the next month or month and a couple of weeks. But the GoCast Meetup 2024 is available for y'all to RSVP to if you are looking to attend. Again, it's going to be at the Mall of America, October 26th and 27th. That is the last weekend of that month. Likely, there will be a Halloween event happening at the time. We don't know. Nobody knows. That's not supposed to know, I suppose. But you could bet on it, honestly. So it'll be kind of cool to hang out and do Halloween stuff. If you do plan on attending, please RSVP by going to our website, GoCastPodcast.com, going to the Mall of America 2024 page, and there's an RSVP button. It'll take you to a Google form. If that does not work for you for some reason, because I've had some people tell me that, let me know. I'm thinking about just changing it to a link to the form instead of to one of our pages where it has it embedded. Seems to be causing issues. So if you have a problem, shoot me an email. I'll send you a link to the form direct, or I'll just fix it, which is probably the smarter choice. But we know how that goes, don't we? Okay. All right. With all of that being said, and in that order, we're going to hop into the news. Yo, what up? It's the news. Okay, let's talk about the Triumph Together stuff first.
God.
So we have one new piece of news and one piece of breaking news as is currently happening right now. Now, should it be still happening right now? Jury says no. Experts say no. 10 out of 10 doctors say no. But right now, we are in the throes of Triumph Together, which is a 3-stage team-based global challenge event, the first of which we had to get 75 million Team Go Rocket Grunts defeated, and then we will unlock the second stage. Now, this event goes until, what, Wednesday? Tuesday? Wednesday?
It's Friday. It's still Friday, right?
Friday.
Friday? 3 days from today? Yeah, Friday evening.
And it started last Friday.
Started last Friday morning.
Now,
yeah,
we just got into the egg hatching thing like this morning, last night.
Last night at like 6 p.m. So it's been about 24 hours from when we're recording, at least.
Yeah, we're past the halfway point for the event, and we just finished that point. Just crying as we pull ourselves over the finish line for the Team Go Rocket Grunts. Admittedly, it's going pretty slow.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it, I suppose.
What's another way of putting it? I'm going to open this up to you because I'm kind of said all the things I wanted to say.
I was telling Chris that there's only two ways to look at it, in my opinion at least. Either nobody is doing it, which is a valid reason, especially because we just did a bunch of rockets and they want us to do a bunch more rockets. That's a lot of rockets all at once for not much reward. Let's be real. Or they set the goal really high on purpose so that it would take a long time to finish.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about it we're only going to have all 3 bonuses active for probably maybe 36 hours at this point, if we're lucky. We're still 20%, 25% away from finishing the egg hatching. So we probably won't get it until tomorrow morning. And then, what is it? 10 million, 15 million field research, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to take all day Wednesday and half of Thursday. So we're going to have, a 1 day.
Yeah. I mean,
for the bonus that is the one that, as far as I can see, is the one that most people care about, even though I talked about how much I didn't care for it last week.
Yeah, but how much of that is people being like, I care about this because it's going to be the one we probably don't get, and I want something to complain about next week.
Well, I think it's Candy XL, so I care about it, whether it's actually valuable or not.
I think that's probably right. Yeah, I'm just having a laugh over here.
Yeah.
But it is kind of disappointing. But I feel a little validated. I hope you do too, in our frustration with the fact that we just had the world's longest and world's worst, I'm so sorry, Niantic, but the worst adventure week we've ever had that was then capped with a rocket event that didn't help it, and we kind of hoped it did, or it would, but it didn't. And then we had that for like 5 days, and then the first thing we have to do for the next event is rocket grunts. I'm sad.
It's a lot of rocket grunts.
Yeah.
Like
too many.
So many rocket grunts.
Yeah. 50 million would have been good, I think.
Yeah. And I think the thing I'm taking away is not even the timing of all this. This is supposed to be like a big capstone to our season. The season's over. We're getting kind of like this collection thing right here at the end to celebrate everything. It doesn't feel like a celebration. It almost feels more like punishment. Like, you worked the whole season, now do the extra work and you can get the small reward, which is the costume Pokemon, which is it's a good reward. Like, if you could just get those costume Pokemon and it was an end of season with some really cool spawns that had been happening throughout the rest of the season, that'd be really cool. But like, we don't even have spawns right now. So it's not even exciting to go out and play to tie into the tasks you have to do.
I'm going to go ahead and rephrase that. It doesn't feel like a punishment. It feels like a consequence.
Okay. Okay. What's the consequence too?
The consequence is like, no, Team Go Rocket is fun, and we're going to prove it to you by making you do 75 million grunts.
Okay. Yeah, like, fair enough. They're like, we want people to do rockets. This is what you're going to do.
Yeah, you guys
complained if you do too many, we're going to soft ban you.
Right, exactly. They fixed that, right? That would be a bummer if that wasn't fixed prior to this.
No, it's not. It's not fixed.
Hilarious.
It's
no
just
kidding.
It's just how sensitive it might or might not be. You can still be banned for doing too many rocket grunts, but I think the number is probably in a more unrealistic scenario now. Before it was like 200 in a day or something like that.
Yeah, but I saw reports from other people, other shows and posts online that like it kind of got down to like 100 and then 60 at some point. Some people were reporting. They might have been misreporting or, anecdotally been incorrect. But yeah, either way, it was not just like that number's so big that won't affect anybody. It was a very achievable number, especially if you're in a populated area stop wise and you have a plus going, right? So, gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the Triumph together. It's just like not particularly rewarding.
No.
For the effort.
But on the plus side, lots of people are reporting shiny Ponyta, Valor Ponyta.
Yeah.
So that's good for them. It might have been boosted a little bit, or people were just lucky. But good on you if you got one. And shame on you if you didn't. That's me. I didn't get one. And I did complete the ticket, like I said up top, for my goal. So I had 2 shots, 2 opportunities, and I let them both slip, Kyle. Would you believe it? I did. Okay, well, anyway, let's move on to our first real piece of news. And that new piece of news is go all out with, drumroll, Galar Pokemon. What?
It's
Finally.
About time.
It is about time. Trainers, go out, go big, and go wild with a new season in Pokemon Go as Pokemon first discovered in the Galar region make their debuts. When Tuesday, September 3rd at 10 a.m. to Tuesday, September 10th at 10 a.m. local time. So this will be for a week. Keep that in mind. Debuts for this event are Grookey, Thwackey, Rillaboom, Scorbunny, Reboot, and Cinderace or Cinderace for the cultured, Sobble, Drizzile, and Inteleon, Dreepy, Dracloak, or Dragapult as well. And then wild encounters will be Grookey, Scorbunny, Sobble, Squovit, Wooloo, and if you're lucky, Dreepy, with 2 shiny debuts in Squovit and Wooloo. Now, we've had Squovit and Wooloo already, so that's why this is happening. But Wooloo shiny literally just swaps its fur turns black and its body turns white. It's it's like the most basic and therefore brilliant shiny of all time. It's really nice. Yep. Yeah. Maxed out special research. Choose your Galarian partner Pokemon. A new special research story with branching paths will be available to trainers throughout Pokemon Go Max Out, which is the name of the new season, by the way. You'll be able to reach new heights with your chosen partner Pokemon. Depending on which partner Pokemon you choose, your postcard book background will change for the season to celebrate your new companion. That's new and cute. Good on them. You can claim this special research at no cost from Tuesday, September 3rd at 10 a.m. to Tuesday, December 3rd at 9:59 a.m. local time, which is when the season will end, more or less. So just to stop really quick, who are you going to pick for your partner Pokemon?
Scorbunny.
Yeah, me too.
I love Scorbunny. Scorbunny got a lot of hate when Galar first came out, and I love it. So
we are Scorbunny honeys. That's for sure. There are some egg pool changes, and nobody rejoiced but me. 5-kilometer egg pool will feature Grookey, Scorbunny, Sobble, and more. Trademark. 7-kilometer egg pools will feature these Galarian versions of Pokemon: Meowth, Ponyta, Slowpoke, Farfetch'd, Zigzagoon, Darumaka, Yamask, and Stunfisk. The 10-kilometer pool will include Dreepy and more. And there are event bonuses. There's 2 actually for this event. 2 times experience for both catching and evolving Pokemon. So It's an evolution hour for an entire week, Kyle. Your dreams do come true.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it is good. So when you inevitably miss the window tonight because our recording goes over, just remember next week you're all set.
I'm going to get 400 inventory slots back this next week.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be good for you.
Great.
Yeah. There's also going to be collection challenges where you complete the Galar themed collection challenges to receive Stardust experience and additional encounters with Wooloo. Love it. And then there's showcases, likely Galarian, web store, capitalism. You know what to expect. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I mean, Kyle, I'm going to ask you for your feedback like I always do now, because this is what we do. We go back and forth after we kind of cover it. But to be honest, I don't think there's anything to really discuss, at least not format wise. When it comes to introductory events, this is how it works.
Yeah. Like this is, I say it not as a negative, but this is bog standard. This is exactly what you expect. If you find one Dreepy, you will be lucky, and it's only because your shadow showed you it from 5 kilometers away.
Yes.
Just like when Jangmo-O came out.
Yes.
And if it's more common, that's awesome. I love Dreepy. So I hope it's more common than that. But I'm expecting to find one, maybe 2.
Maybe 2. Yeah. I'm kind of the same boat, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited. I like 2 of these 3 starters. So
who don't you like?
I don't like Sobble.
No, not part of the squad, huh?
Sobble is fine by itself, but Inteleon is no. I don't like Drizzile. I don't like Inteleon.
Oh,
don't like their design.
See, for me, I'm not a Grookey gang kind of guy.
Oh, Grookey's so good. Thwackey is the best middle evolution in the entire game.
No, I think Reboot is.
No, Reboot is mid.
Mid evolution
is absolutely ridiculous insanity, and then Rillaboom is just cool.
I think Thwackey has a great name, but I think Reboot, like with the hoodie and the ears down and like the teenager.
No,
with
Reboot's kind of weird because it like has the hoodie pulled up around its face, so it's hard to even tell that it's kind of a hoodie. So,
well, I think it's fun. Well, I guess there's Pokemon for everybody now, isn't there? And this is evidence to that. Yeah. But finally, we're getting Galarian Pokemon from Galar. Like, this is really exciting in and of itself. Outside of the greater context of the Dynamax feature being introduced and it being a brand new season and that general hype as well. Again, we'll talk about pretty much everything else next week with the larger group for our season update episode. But I'm excited. And after we found out all this information, I was telling Kyle, like, I'm so ready to be excited for Pokemon Go again. And I think this is going to do it for me.
Yeah, well, it's like, so here's the thing. We'll talk about the season stuff next week, but it's a whole season this is kind of supposed to be the focus. There are like 70 Galar Pokemon not in the game right now.
Yeah.
That's so much that could just make everything exciting if it's just in all things.
Yes.
For the whole season. So like every event, here's Hatenna comes out, this psychic event, is Hatenna psychic or is it fairy? I don't remember anymore.
Hatenna is both, I think.
It's Halloween, release Sinistea. Like it's exciting. I think it, as long as they do it well, I'm really looking forward to it.
Hatenna is psychic, so is Hatterene, and Hatterene is psychic fairy.
Okay, so I wasn't actually crazy. I remembered it both correctly. Good.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited. Oh man, a Hatenna event would be so hype. Pokemon is very popular. Yeah, I mean, Galar is such a great region because it's got a lot of hits, more hits than it has misses on its Pokemon roster, which was not necessarily the case for every region, but definitely for Galar, very strong. Paldea also very strong, but we're not talking about Paldea anymore.
Yeah, I think Galar really only has like maybe 3 or 4 misses.
Yeah, like universally agreed upon misses. Yeah, I would agree.
Is awful.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Ice Cube.
It's so bad. If you've never looked it up, go look it up. If you're a Pokemon Go only player, oh man.
And it's spelled funny too. So
yeah.
Jeez. Okay. Well, anyway, that's it for the news. Exciting stuff, but even more exciting stuff next week. So look forward to that. I know that we are. And I know that also PvP Corner this week is looking to knock out a bit of the information that they have as well before we get to our big group recording, because there's a lot. And if you're a PvP player, on top of all the stuff that we just talked about that was worthy of getting excited about, the GBL world is getting a big shakeup in like in a positive way. Most battlers I see online seem very positive about it. So that's all good and very exciting stuff. But that's it for the news. We're going to take a quick little break here. When we come back, it'll be PokéLore time, led by your very own Mr. Kyle.
And we're back. And for PokéLore this week, we're getting it out of the way. We're doing Sobble and Drizzile, the water lizard Pokemon, and Inteleon, the secret agent Pokemon, which is so cool, but not on this Pokemon.
Yeah.
Sobble is a small lizard-like Pokemon. It has light blue skin with darker blue patches on its cheeks and the tip of its curled tail, and a lighter blue belly and face. It has white eyes with dark blue irises. It also has a yellow fin on the top of its head, held by a dark blue spine. Sobble has thin limbs, each of them ending in two curved hands resembling those of a chameleon. It can use those to stick to walls and easily climb them. Sobble can run around as both a quadruped and a biped and uses its forelimbs as arms. It has the ability to change the patterns and colors on its body when touching water, allowing it to camouflage itself. Sobble is known to be very cautious. I'm turning to Sean Connery there for a second. Sobble is known to be very cautious in nature due to being a bit timid. When Sobble gets nervous or embarrassed, it secretes water from its body like sweat in order to disappear into its surroundings. If Sobble feels threatened, it will start bawling and spreading its tears around the area. These tears are said to be as potent as 100 onions.
Wow.
And can cause anyone near it to start crying uncontrollably, which it will use as a distraction in order to escape. That is Gen 1 Pokedex entry right there.
It is. It's got some Cantonian energy to it, doesn't it?
By eating berries, it can shoot opponents down with bullets of water it spurts from its mouth. It has perfect aim with these water attacks. It has recently been seen living in the terrarium of Blueberry Academy.
Like very recently.
Very recently. like 3 months ago.
Yeah, like the most recent it could be.
I don't know what time is anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a construct.
Drizzile uses special pores in its palms to secrete moisture, which it forms into water balloons that it uses to attack. Drizzile is highly intelligent, capable of devising strategies or using its surroundings to enact hit-and-run tactics. However, it is also exceptionally lazy and prefers to not do anything unless it has to. It makes its home inside tree hollows or rocks. It is very cautious and lays out traps everywhere around its territory to keep enemies out. Like its evolutionary relatives, it also has the ability to camouflage itself when wet. Drizzile typically moves on all fours, although it can stand and walk on two legs. Drizzile will use its long, slimy tongue to first attack its prey with blinding speeds before finishing it off with great skill and water balloons.
So generic.
Yeah.
Great skill. What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Is it physical prowess? Is it mind games? Do they
water
hurl
balloons?
insults?
We already established.
Like, yeah, but like, what great skill does one have with water balloons?
I don't know.
Okay,
Next up is Inteleon, and Inteleon has many hidden capabilities. It has darkly colored nictitating membranes. I think that's how you say that word. That allow it to analyze for an opponent's weak point. I think that's like the second eyelids that amphibians have.
How did you know that?
I know the word. I just don't know how to say it.
I just looked it up, and that's right.
Yeah, I just don't know how to say it. I'm assuming I was right, but
yeah, you're right.
These special lenses can also detect body heat.
Some of these images on Wikipedia are freaky.
Oh yeah, those second eyelids are weird.
Yeah.
This also helps it precisely shoot water from its fingertips at Mach 3. The membrane on its back is extendable and allows it to glide in the air. It also has a sharp knife hidden in its tail. Inteleon is highly intelligent, carefully thinking out strategies before entering combat to ensure a swift and decisive victory. It is also known to be quite chivalrous and is completely loyal to trainers it sees as worthy. As seen in Pokemon Journeys, Inteleon can camouflage itself like its pre-evolved forms and has access to infrared vision.
Oh my gosh.
Despite Inteleon presenting itself as being a well-mannered Pokemon, it still retains its lazy side from its pre-evolution. Inteleon will choose to slack off when its trainer does not look at it. Inteleon is the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Snipe Shot. As for stats, max CP at level 40 of 2964 and at level 50 of 3351. Stamina of 172, defense of 142, and attack of 262.
Very
It's
high.
a crazy attack. Unfortunately, this bulk will probably not make it worth using in PvE over Swampert, I believe. I'll have to see once it's all actually out.
It's the new water glass cannon, though.
Yeah. Best moveset from what we know potentially so far is Water Gun with Surf and Shadow Ball. Of course, in 3 or 4 years when we get the Community Day, it'll have Hydro Cannon and that'll replace Surf and so on and so forth.
The other charge move that it has currently listed, again, this is all pre-release, so things could change, is Water Pulse. And the other quick move it has is Pound.
Not good.
Not good. Not good.
I feel like Pound may have uses on some PvP stuff, but not when you have probably want the stab from Water Gun. But
yeah,
it's so squishy. Let's be real here.
You definitely want the stab with Water Gun here. I mean, and honestly, when you're talking about starter Pokemon that have high base stats and therefore their CP is going to be higher at lower levels, right? And especially with these glass cannons, like you were saying before, the higher TDO equivalents that do a little bit less damage but are twice as bulky are much better in PvP anyway. So when you're looking at this move here, you're looking at DPS, so you're gonna go stab, stab, stab each time, right? So yeah.
So how do you feel about Inteleon?
I mean, I'm not the biggest Sobble fan in the world, and I'm a much bigger Sobble fan than I am of Inteleon, but I don't hate Inteleon at all. I mean, I think it's fine. And I think its Gigantamax is hilarious. It goes up on a sniper tower with a sniper.
Its tail becomes the sniper tower.
Yeah, it's very it is not it's the most un-Pokemon Pokemon design I've ever seen in my life. Why did they think that was an appropriate design? It's cool, but it's just strange. I suppose this is coming from an American perspective, but even still, it strikes you as odd too, right?
Not really. I didn't really think about it too much. Over, not gonna lie.
I just think there's a big difference between Inteleon doing finger guns and shooting water at people than it being in a tower of its own tail with an actual sniper rifle. It just strikes me as odd.
Yeah. I think that Sobble and Inteleon are just Froakie and Greninja done worse. I think Froakie and Greninja, it is conceptually it's so similar, and it's just worse.
And I agree. I do. I mean, you're not going to avoid comparisons when you have one frog starter water Pokemon that's very popular, and then you bring out another lizard-based water starter Pokemon that's very similar. I mean, it's not a frog for sure. Nope. It's a lizard, but it fills the niche. You're right, the same thing. But that being said, I think it's cool enough that it has its own merits, right? Even if it's not your favorite, it's unique. But unique in the way that it makes me feel uncomfortable, like I was saying before. It just seems strange to me.
It's not the worst starter line. For sure.
Oh, it's certainly not the worst starter line. Yeah, Chikorita exists. Yeah. Hey, Chikorita fans out there, I'm not sorry. Send your hate mail to mail@GOCastPodcast.com and I will read your tear-soaked emails with joy. Oh, poor Chikorita. Okay, well, that's it for PokéLore. Thank you, Mr. Kyle. Why don't we hop right into PokéPoll then?
So for last week's PokéPoll we had, you've been drafted to lead your king/queen's army. Which Pokemon are you riding into battle and why? First response from Carlo, and they said, funny answer first, Pidgey. Okay. All right, now for the real answer. Steelix/Mega Steelix. We're not riding out on the surface. Why would we when we can burst up from underneath you with all 30 feet, 34 feet, Mega Evolved, ready to rumble/boa constrictor you and your posse? We have to make sure that we get the extra 4 feet from Mega Steelix. It's important.
That's right. Exactly right. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. The sands of Arrakis are treacherous. That's for sure.
Still haven't seen either of those movies yet.
That's me, Mega Shyalude.
Oh, God. Next one's from Kitty Rambles from via X. They said, Xerneas, a magnificent fairy deer god, perfect to lead an army.
Yeah, that's got some Lion Witch in the Wardrobe flavor right there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Next one's from Michael R via YouTube. And they said, I would choose Werdeer to ride into battle. The idea of riding a white stag into a large battle with a sword and shield tickles my fantasy/D&D brain.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Johto is my favorite region. I'm glad a forgotten Pokemon like Stantler having a cool evolution that you can actually ride in-game is dope. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like a large deer or elk or something is just like the coolest mount conceptually, isn't it?
It's very cool. Very cool.
Uh-huh. And then we've got a voicemail here from a listener named John and his son. And we're going to listen to that now.
This is JK Awesome, otherwise known as Jonathan. Out with a walk with my son, Ira, and we're discussing this week's PokéPoll about which Pokemon we would ride into battle, and Ira has an answer for you.
Lugia, because he can either fly, swim, or walk into battle.
So there you have it. Guys, appreciate you playing this if you do, and we'll keep listening to the podcast.
I mean, yes.
Great answer. Oh, yeah.
Objectively, yes, that's the right answer.
You have to make sure think back to the Lugia movie where Ash rides Lugia and Lugia goes underwater for the first time and like closes the fins on its back. And it's like, yeah, now I don't need to breathe underwater. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah. It was very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, Lugia is just awesome. You've got Lugia fans here. So Ira, good choice. Can't go wrong. But thank you for the voicemail. Appreciate that.
Now for this week's PokéPoll we have, what Galarian Pokemon do you hope to see this season and why? Chris, has this episode bought you enough time or should I go and potentially steal your answers?
You gotta go. I forgot to look at the Pokedex.
Oh no. Okay. Well, I got 2 answers and I've already forgotten one of them. So I lied. I remember it. Easy answer though for me. Applin.
Oh,
I
that is a good
love Applin. Appleton and Applin are like on my top 10 Pokemon of all time. I don't know why I just fell in love with them as soon as Sword and Shield came out. So, yeah.
Yeah. I actually do have a very obvious answer for me. It's Corviknight.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good answer.
Yeah, I love Corviknight. I know it's a very kind of basic answer, but also we're both looking forward to Toxtricity, aren't we?
Oh yeah, Toxtricity is like easy. Like, oh yeah, he's the bait answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Couple honorable mentions for me though, because didn't quite make the list. Grimmsnarl. I love Grimmsnarl. So good. And then this is the controversial one. All 4 fossils.
Oh.
I like the Galar fossils.
That's the combination ones, right?
Yeah. I think Dracovish and Dracozolt are just fun. The Arcta ones are less fun, but not that bad. And so like, yeah.
I don't know.
like them.
I don't know, man. I really dislike the idea of mix and matching halves of Pokemon together, and they're not being like pure forms of each of them. Like that's a bummer.
But like the history behind it is hilarious because of
it is.
Like it's funny.
Like you're tying it to real paleontology, archaeology, right? Like
exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's fine, but like some of these combinations are like thin half going into a big half.
Yeah, it's making fun of the people. Be like, why did you not see the problem here?
Yeah, well, now I'm seeing a problem in those Pokemon. It bothers me a little bit. Geez. Well, anyway, dear listener, if you have an answer for this week's PokéPoll question, which is, one more time, what Galarian Pokemon do you hope to see this season and why? You can answer when we post it on X, on our X account, at GOCast Podcast. If you're a patron supporter of ours and are in our patron exclusive Discord as a result, we have an entire channel dedicated to PokéPoll. You can answer there when the question is posted. And then especially if you're watching YouTube, you can leave a comment. We pull from there now as well. Please watch us on YouTube and subscribe if you haven't. Hello, YouTube. Good to see you. Well, good for you to see us. Hey. And then beyond that, if you're listening on Spotify, you can reply to the episode via a comment with your answer, and we'll take from there as well. And then last but not least, the old-fashioned way, send us an email to mail@gocastpodcast.com or leave us a voicemail. You can answer the PokéPoll this way, or just leave us a voicemail in general by calling 262-586-7717. And Mr. Kyle, happy to say it after it's been a couple of weeks, where are we in the show?
It's time for emails.
That's right. Actually, emails. This first email here is from somebody who actually sent us this email a couple of weeks ago, and the initial one got caught up in spam, and they followed up to check on it, and good thing they did, because I wouldn't have caught it. And I found somebody else's email in there as well because of that, so thank you very much, Dunny C, for reaching out and following up, because you helped me find out about the spam thing, so thank you very much. But this one comes from Dunny C, and they said, "Hi, Chris and Kyle. I love the podcast. I look forward to listening to a new episode every week while I drive around for work. I'm a commercial kitchen appliance technician, and my working day consists of driving from site to site for breakdowns and servicing. Mm-hmm. These sites can vary from shopping malls, sports clubs, aged care facilities, hospitals, etc. Most of these places have Pokestops and gyms. I catch on average 100 and 200 Pokemon a day thanks to my Plus. This game works very well for my lifestyle, but there are very few things I would love to share with you that I think would greatly improve the game. Firstly, increasing the number of gyms by a new gym being created when the 12th Pokestop is added in a level 14 S2 cell. Currently, a new gym is created on the 2nd, 6th, and 20th Pokestop. I believe the gap between 6 and 20 is too large and disadvantages smaller towns that struggle to have 20 eligible POIs in the same level 14 S2 cell to nominate. Yes, that's true.
I agree.
I agree. I mean, there has to be a reasoning there for it. I'd be interested to hear that, but I think on paper, you make a good argument. The second change is for Pokestops in parks to be governed by the smaller level 18 S2 cells, currently level 17, but strictly only for parks. This would allow more Pokestops to be added in parks, creating a visible hotspot on the Pogo map that would attract trainers to gather in parks just like IRL events. Furthermore, encouraging social interactions, just like how Niantic would want. Yep. That's objectively good. My third change is to the Buddy Survivor feature. Buddy Survivor feature. Let's read on. It's a gimmick with no functionality. I would love a 1 in 20 chance of your buddy finding a 20-kilometer legendary egg. It must be like your buddy outside in the field, like adventuring with you. This will provide a way for trainers who struggle with the rating, access to legendaries, and also provide another legendary rotation pool. Currently, the time duration for the legendary you're chasing to come around in raids can be far too long. That is very true. Monster Hunter has a solution for this. We could use that in Go, an equivalent. Lastly, Elite TMs need to be more accessible due to the ever-increasing number of legacy moves being added. I believe a feature of converting 100 standard TMs into an Elite TM would be a great way to make use of the excessive amount of standard TMs trainers accumulate. Or you could throw out 100 at a time like Kyle and I do.
Yep. Every time.
I would love to hear your opinions on my ideas. Well, we did that in line. Hope that's all right. Sorry for the very, very long email. Thanks again, Dunny C.
I will say the comment here though hits home. Is currently the time duration for legendaries or chasing to come around in raids can be too long. Really is starting to be felt in Go. When did we last have Rayquaza in raids?
For those elite raids.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, not Mega Rayquaza, just like regular Rayquaza?
Like, yeah, as a raid boss, not here's a one-day event.
2 years ago?
I'm pretty sure we haven't had Rayquaza since Mega Rayquaza was at GoFest, which I'll count because it was like 5 days of it or over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That is not good. And like... as games get older, this becomes a bigger problem and stuff. I play a lot of Genshin Impact. There's a 5.0 comes out actually in like 2 hours. And there's a character in Genshin, a limited 5-star character that hasn't had a feature in 500 days.
Ooh.
And like, granted, they're not a super popular character. So no, they're not popular like Rayquaza, which makes it at least make a little more sense.
I guess so.
So like, the way that raids and stuff rotate really need a refresh for some stuff. As like, we have like, I'm not even joking. There's like 35 more legendaries that are not in the game right now.
Yes.
At least accessible. Obviously we've had like elite raids for stuff like Regieleki and Regidrago, but those will have regular raids eventually. There's no way they stay in elite raids because they're not that special.
I mean, I also think that the loss of agency has kind of come about because as they've introduced more legendaries to the game and the potential pool has grown larger, we have lost progressively the ability to predict rotations. And so you feel more helpless, I suppose. The system has always kind of been like this. But when it was just the Regis or just the legendary beasts or just the legendary birds, it was very easy to be like, oh, we got Regirock. I guess we'll have either Registeel or Regice next month or 2 weeks from now.
And
there is no sense of that anymore.
But like on that same point, even ignoring the potential like predictability we used to have, you need to do so many raids nowadays. And that's like a big kicker is just to take a Pokemon level 40. If you're using a silver pin app from every raid, which let's be real, you're not going to. The average player is using a golden Raz. You need to do like 35? No, like 45 raids ish to get to level 40. And then if you want to take it to 50, you have to do another like 40 raids, 30 raids on top of that. Barring your XL luck, of course. And whether you're remote or in person, that huge factor.
Yeah, huge factor.
And we're on average getting a legendary Pokemon for 1 to 2 weeks at a time. And then you get strings of legendary Pokemon that nobody wants to raid. And it makes it feel even worse.
I suppose nobody wants to raid them because they already have them, but
because there's no reason to raid them.
Yeah, but they're also like thinking about, hey, there's lots of new players and stuff that just don't have this. And so we have to put it in raids, especially if we put the other two Therian form genies in. We got to put But it ties right into that Rayquaza, though. Like, if you want to use that argument, where is Rayquaza?
Where is Rayquaza?
Just for example. I swear to God, by the way, if we missed when Rayquaza was in raids and we're misremembering, I'm sorry for using the example. I'm sure there's another Pokemon that would fit my example if I thought about it.
Yeah, no, if not Rayquaza, there is another suitable
when
substitute.
Was Mewtwo in raids last that was not a shadow raid.
Yeah, but I feel like Mewtwo's an exception.
But it's been like more than 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time squaring up Mewtwo just in general.
Yeah. Okay, fine. But like it's still a fair argument.
Thank you so much for the email, Dunny C. And again, thanks for following up. Otherwise, again, I wouldn't have found the other email in spam. So appreciate that.
Next email's from Dan, and they said, "Hey, GOCast. I live in Baltimore, and you may recall earlier this year, our Key Bridge got tired of the fish and crabs having all the fun and decided to take an extended dip in the Chesapeake Bay." I think I did hear about that.
Yeah, we all did.
Since the bridge collapsed, traffic has been a nightmare, and my typical 25-minute commute is now closer to 70 minutes or more. Oh, man. Finding GOCast has been a lifesaver. I love being able to tune in and listen to everyone chatting about the game. It keeps my sanity intact for the long slog home. I can't thank you enough. One of my favorite parts of the mainstream games is matching a Pokeball to complement the Pokemon I intend to catch with it. I'm definitely the player who will ignore the mechanics of the Pokeball in these cases. I'm disappointed Go hasn't introduced a wider variety of Pokeballs yet. For instance, I'd love to have a small salvo of luxury balls on me in case I ever run into a shiny Furfrou.
Mm-hmm.
I could even see a system letting us cobble together the rare Apricorn balls, Moon balls, Heavy balls, and Dream balls are my favorites. Maybe similarly to how we construct rocket radars.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys get this question a lot, but what kind of Pokeballs would you like to see transition into Go? Are there any you think wouldn't work well? Thanks again, Dan.
Yeah. I've got answers to both already.
Okay, go ahead. I have to refresh myself, but
okay, Quick Ball would work really, really well in Go. Just an increased chance if it's the first thing you use. And then after that, not so much. And then you just go back to using your regular standard Pokeballs or Great Balls. I think that they could be good rewards. If they're really rare, they should work better. And if they're less rare, they should only work a little bit. But it should be like the first or second throw. And then after that, they're just not good. That's how they would be balanced in my mind. And then ones that wouldn't work well, I don't think Timer Ball has a place outside of maybe raid bosses. But even still, I don't think it really has a spot. And I think that might be it. I mean, you can make cases for all sorts of special balls, but like all the ones that are based on typing, like Dive Ball or Net Ball and stuff, those could all work, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the easiest ones that I would like would be like Dusk Ball, nighttime catching.
Yeah,
would be pretty great.
Yeah.
The other ones, maybe like Net or Dive, are a little more difficult because you got to be like in certain biomes and stuff. But Dusk Ball would be great. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really a Pokeball fan for the most part. I've never once thought about what Pokeball I was catching a Pokemon in.
You mean outside of the regular?
Outside of, will this help me catch it more?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so you don't like care what ball a thing was caught in after the fact. You just care about catching the Pokemon.
I've never even looked at it for the most part.
Yeah, no,
so maybe when Gen 10 comes out, I should revisit that mentality and see if that brings me more joy in the game.
It might. Honestly, like you just do the strategy that I do. It's Quick Ball season all year round.
I mean, that's what I did. That's what I do especially in Sword and Shield and Sun and Scarlet and Violet. But yeah. That said, cosmetically different Pokeballs would be awesome. I do think the game has room for that kind of cosmetic type thing. Like, I don't remember what generation it was, but stickers on Pokeballs, also really cool. A great opportunity in Go for GBL. You know, you can't have letters on the stickers, obviously, but other than that, you know, there's hearts, stars, sparkles, you know, confetti. Like, there's so many customization options there that I think the game would be pretty great to have.
Yeah, I think that's just correct. I mean, more customization is good.
There is a downside, though, in that in the main series game, when you catch a Pokemon, you're going to use that Pokemon. Either you're going to give it a mint to change its nature. You're going to give it bottle caps to change its stats. You're going to breed it, in which case the Pokeball transfers. So, like, it matters. But, like, how bad would it feel to use a friendship ball or a love ball? Well, friendship ball, I guess. Whatever the one that gives more friend points to the Pokemon. On a Pokemon, and then you catch it, and it's like a 1-star.
Or is it Love Ball?
Love Ball is opposite gender.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so like that kind of feels bad because you don't have the same personal attachment with Pokemon in Pokemon Go as you do in the main series games. And that's something I think that has to like be overcome with the idea of custom Pokeballs, which I still definitely for.
Yeah, definitely agreed. Great question though. Fun question. Okay, if you would like to send us an email or a voicemail like these fine folks did, and also in the Pokémon response section, you can by sending it to mail@gocastpodcast.com or calling our voicemail line at 262-586-7717. Visit our website for all things GoCast and for information on this year's meetup in Mall of America, October 26th and 27th. Please RSVP if you're coming. There is a cutoff date. It's in like a month, but pretend like it's tomorrow when you hear this. You go to it.
Oh no, I've missed it already.
Oh, shoot. But yeah, GoCastPodcast.com is the place for that. Follow us on X at GoCast Podcast. We're also on Threads at GoCast Podcast. I've been posting the PokéPoll on there. So for those of you that are, X Isles,
yeah.
If that's not already coined, I'm trademarking it. Hey, we're also listening to you. So I'm going to make an effort to be on Threads with our stuff. So that y'all get an opportunity to participate as well. If you'd like to help support our show monetarily, you can via Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you get access to our patron exclusive Discord. That's patreon.com/GoCast podcast. Thank you in advance if you do. And if you are a patron of ours, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Speaking of patrons, shout out to our elite trainer tier patrons. Big thank you to Bo, Daniel, Lori, Michael, Ozzy, Arkham, Marvin, and Mimi, Sforza, Rasuian, Ryan, Thayer, Jason, Justin, Charles, Modders, Lee, William, Brandon, Ethan, Stephen, Nick, our favorite listener, Drew 2, Camo, The Ugly Rock, Jacob, Victoria, and Sarah Lore. Thank you so very much for your very gracious help. We appreciate it. And for helping us keep the digital lights on, amongst other things. But if monetary support's not in the cards for you, please consider leaving us a review on any platform that accepts reviews. It helps us out immensely. Thank you so much in advance. Okay, I think we've got just one more thing to do, and it's to set some goals. This weekend, we've got Poplio Community Day. Woo!
I have 20 shiny Poplio, which is a lot, especially because I don't care too much for Poplio, but it's 3 times experience, so I should probably play. 1 million experience, and to continue my friend gifting. So if I get 1 million experience, I'll be like 2.5 million away, 3 million away from 49. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good on you. Nice and simple, but reasonable goals all the same. For me, I've also got 3 goals. It's 10 shiny Poplio. I'll explain in a minute. 50 eggs and 24 million Stardust on hand. I think I've got to get like 250,000 to get up to that point now. So should be doable. I'm setting a lower shiny count than normal. Normally I try to just put any number higher than Kyle, like the Price is Right, but in reverse. But I'm going to be out of town for a wedding. So I have no idea how much time I'm going to actually have during that time period. So I will play out of my pocket, except for when I'm giving the speech at the wedding. But I will play, and I'll try to get 10.
Pokemon Go experience.
That's right. My suit pocket with my plus, and people are giving me hugs. I'll be like, why are you vibrating? I'm like, I don't know.
Why is there a bright rainbow light flashing inside of your pocket?
I'm celebrating love at this wedding. Leave me alone. All right. Well, we will see you all next week for our All Hands podcast with all 5 of us, all your friends and other hosts here on GoCast. And until then, shiny vibes. Good luck with Poplio Community Day, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.